Hey, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. The biggest thing in the crypto space right now is actually not even about crypto. And the effects of this closely guarded secret will have reverberating effects on the stock market, blockchain, the economy, and the tech space. Makes you wonder how news this big could be so underreported. You're lucky we're friends. And I'm going to tell you about it and how you can use it to get rich in crypto. Let's get it. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. My name is Ben. Every day I tell you how to make money in crypto. Now, if you like money, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you don't get BitBoy FOMO. In today's video, we are blowing the lid off some news coming out of Washington, D.C. that could destroy Silicon Valley. That's right, you heard me. And in doing so, elevate crypto to a new level we thought it may not hit for 10 years or more. Mainstream adoption and new millionaires galore. We'll also discuss why betting on Bitcoin is better than betting on gold and stonks. But many Americans will miss out on these opportunities, of course. Why? Well, we'll talk about a key member of Ripple Labs blasting the government. And if you're into NFTs and BitBoy collectibles, then we've got some huge announcements regarding a special reward for BitBoy cardholders only. So first, we gotta take a look at something no one else in crypto is talking about.
Big tech could be finished.
For crypto, the dream is a decentralized world, and we could be heading there at warp speed. Let me tell you one thing, though, that I know about Washington, D.C. It's a scummy place full of weasels and cheetahs and snakes, where partisanship is rampant, and the only buy support in the Capitol is by college interns working for senators. The opportunity for the two major parties to work together are extremely few and far between. However, one issue they seem to be aligned on is antitrust litigation against big tech. And when their powers combine, you don't want to be in the center of their warpath. They may just turn into Captain Planet.
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet! Captain Planet, he's our hero.
They believe, though, it's gotten far too out of control and that somehow tech companies have actually become the leading voice that determines the way that Americans see the world. Not politicians, not communications companies, not civil servants, but tech companies. And hey, we get it. You are most definitely 100% watching or listening to this video on a device built by a tech company. A 16-month-long congressional panel has concluded its investigation on big tech, and it is not good for the top companies. It was led by mostly Democrats, but also included key judiciary member Republicans, Congressman Ken Buck from Colorado, and Republican Jim Jordan. While the Republicans have stated there is some disagreement on how to proceed, the Republican members totally agree with the findings from this investigation. And this is bad news for big tech. The companies that cryptocurrencies are trying to unseat, Apple, Google, Amazon, and Facebook, should be on the lookout. While there are certainly other large companies shaking in their boots, those four companies are front and center of this investigation, and they have been accused of using their leverage to stomp out the competition. And last time I checked, that is called a monopoly, which is a fun game, but a deadly game in the world of business. We could soon be seeing antitrust lawsuits filed against all four of these companies, and this could decimate stock prices and shake investor confidence in these companies. They sure could use a get-out-of-jail-free card about now. But fortunately for cryptocurrency investors, this is what we are after. Imagine Ethereum with a decentralized app store and operating system that could take out Apple. Maybe Vitalik Buterin actually teased that a few weeks ago. Imagine a decentralized marketplace like Amazon, where people could exchange goods without the need for a third party. Imagine SoMe or Hyper replacing centralized and censored social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Imagine decentralized platforms dethroning Google. And before you go doubting, this could be a reality. Let's take a look at what happened when Microsoft was charged with violating antitrust laws. First of all, Bill Gates ended up stepping down over this controversy, he certainly didn't do it out of the goodness of his heart like he might want you to believe. So I guess in a roundabout way, you can thank government litigators in the early 2000s for that vaccine they're going to force you to take here in a few months. Hopefully they're gentle. Give you a cute Band-Aid.
I'll make sure that he look cute in that hospital gown.
In addition, Bill Gates believes that the only reason Apple still exists today is because of the creation of the iPhone. And if it wasn't for the Microsoft lawsuit penalties, Microsoft would have created the touchscreen smartphone first. That lawsuit created opportunity for Apple and changed the futures forever of thousands of companies across the world. We could be seeing the same thing for crypto companies in the near future. The question is, which crypto will be the Apple, if you will, takes advantage of this opportunity? Personally, I would probably say Ethereum is best positioned, but let me know down in the comments section which cryptocurrency you believe has the most to gain by these antitrust potential lawsuits. Of course, Bitcoin has a lot to gain in other ways. It isn't the smart contract platform that Ethereum is, but Bitcoin would benefit from the fall of the US dollar or the collapse of banks. But other than being a currency or store of value, it doesn't do much per se. However, it certainly will continue to go up in value. In fact, a $1 investment in Bitcoin still beats any investment you can make in other traditional assets, such as stocks or gold. The gold people, known as gold bugs, the lamest nickname for anything in the entire world, want you to believe that gold is better than Bitcoin. But the stats just don't lie. Bitcoin is up almost 50% this year. Gold, which seems to get all the hype and is in the midst of a euphoric bull run, is only at half that, 25% increase for this year for gold. So for those of you bullish on bullion, you may want to head down the digital gold rabbit trail. Some gold analysts are even starting to turn to Bitcoin themselves, as they are believing Bitcoin could go from $10,000 all the way to $100K in 5 years. I'm going to need them to go ahead and speed that up by about probably 4 years at least. And this is a great example of people who don't study the Bitcoin historical charts because they say it's happening faster than that. I wanted to take this time though to give you guys a super cool announcement about the BitBoy collectibles on Rarible. We've been playing around with utility for these cards. We want to give them a purpose other than just collectibles. And we have some exciting ideas, but we now created the first utility for the BitBoy collectible cards. This utility is you getting something for free. That's right. We are going to be creating our next BitBoy character collectible card, only available via airdrop. You cannot buy it originally. We're only going to make as many as the holders of the original cards. If you own an original version, you will get the original version of this character. If you own the black and white card, you will receive the black and white version of the character. And if you have the animated version, you'll receive the animated version of this character, the most rare at this point. So the only way to buy the character, which is totally awesome by the way, will be to buy it on the resale marketplace. And I can't wait to show you guys this. It is going to be a killer card. So if you are on the fence about getting a collectible card, then this should push you off the fence. Just make sure you don't break an arm. Also, remember to look for fakes and scammers. Only cards from the BitBoy Collectibles verified Rarible account are authentic. Ripple co-founder Chris Larson was recently in the news calling out the United States government, risky business. And while many people call XRP the banker coin and the enemy of decentralization, I gotta totally agree with Chris on this one. Larson said that the United States has dropped the ball on blockchain and that China is passing us quickly. He even went on to say that these US regulations could cause the parent company of the XRP token, Ripple Labs, to relocate to a different country. Whether or not Ripple is making a veiled threat here or simply posturing against the government, doesn't sound like they are happy with the current direction. Nobody likes being passed, and it feels like in the United States, we are, and yet we're facing stifling regulation. The question is, do you believe Ripple leaving the United States would be a good thing for the price? Drop your comments down below if you're bullish on XRP, or even bearish. Today's show, though, is brought to you by X Finance. I've had a lot of people in my Telegram group asking me recently about this one. We've discussed it on the channel before, but it seems like the hype train is just now getting ready to pull out of the station. And as always, I do have to say, I am not a financial advisor, so please make sure to do your own research. X Finance is a decentralized yield aggregator platform which aims to build an aggregate liquidity pool, a leveraged trading platform, the hottest thing right now in DeFi, an automatic market maker, and other functional platforms. You can think of X Finance as a full stack DeFi protocol. The full stack aspect of this project is very important because it means that the X Finance ecosystem can be robust. It doesn't only apply to one specific product, platform, or project, which means the possibilities are virtually endless. Tokenomics of this project are sound and, more importantly, limited. That is what you want in projects that you invest in. You want a hard cap and a maximum supply. This is what creates scarcity and rarity. It is what gives crypto its value, truly. That's what gives Bitcoin its value. But many projects have blown off the lid of limited supplies, which causes inflation and devalues your crypto. That's kind of what we don't like about the fiat system. X Finance has a limited token and is deflationary. The most recent development for this project is the birth of its new official website. You can see here, visit it at xfinance.io. As you guys know, I'm huge on NFTs right now, as we discussed earlier, particularly partial to BitBoy collectibles, as I hope you are too. But X Finance will not only be launching its XSwap platform later next month, but also its X NFT exchange. Maybe we can see some BitBoy cards there in the future. Thanks again to X Finance for sponsoring this segment. That's all I got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.